Good morning, everyone. Suzanne Taylor King here for another Friday live of Unlock Your Way with STK. And I am super stoked for today's conversation with founder, CEO, master copywriter, Sarah Chan. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
You're so welcome. I've been looking forward to this conversation. Full transparency, we talk all the time. So this is going to be a little bit deeper and hit a little harder than just a fluffy conversation. So let's start off with, we got introduced and I immediately saw your copywriting genius. And you're young, you're bold, you're fearless. Where does that come from?
I think it comes from the fact that you're going to either be 10 toes down in what you want to do in life, or you're going to be 10 toes out. Right? So like the whole philosophy for me is like, if you want to be successful, you are going to have to do things that scare you to pieces, right?
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah, for real. Yeah.
You have to eliminate the scarcity mindset that you're not going to be successful. For a very long time, I felt like I wasn't capable of being successful, right? Like I felt like I couldn't own success, but by God's design, for sure, he put me with people that showed me I was. So if you're going to be 10 toes in, you got to be all in.
Yeah. I think that quality in you is part of the ability at you're 26, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm 58. And some of the conversations that we've had have been so on peer status. And I think that's a quality that your thinking is so modern, which that's really attractive to me when somebody can think like that, self-analyze, take action right away. And that's not a young people feature, but I'm pointing out your age because of this, because I meet people over 50, over 60 all the time who have not changed their thinking or their action, sometimes their hairdo, since high school, since their 20s. And I've noticed that that's really been the key to so much of my success is the ability to stay current, to stay modern, not only technology-wise, but just with the work I'm doing in the world. Where does that come from at 26? Like, I know where it comes from me, like a long slog of not doing that, starting a business before social media. But for you, it seems like it's in your DNA a bit to me.
Yeah, for sure. Listen, my Chinese family comes from Hong Kong. My dad, my uncle, my grandfather, they're all entrepreneurs, right? Like even my extended family, entrepreneurial, very entrepreneurial. I've known I wanted to start a business since I was 5 years old. I've always known I wanted to be my own boss. For me, growing up with a parent who's multi-7-figure entrepreneur, that was really instilled in us. And forging your own path is the way to success.
Yeah.
And I remember I was a teenager. I was still living in Jersey at the time. And I remember one very distinct conversation between my father and a friend of his. And he manages a Honda dealership. Okay. And, he said people at 50 start getting reviewed for their performance, for if they can continue to keep going on. And that scared me. That really scared me. And I was like, I don't want to be in a situation where I'm 50 years old and have worked God knows how long and and be looked at like I'm not good enough
Yeah.
and be kicked out the door.
Yeah.
So, having a very successful entrepreneur as a parent was enough for me to see, be like, yeah, this whole corporate thing, this isn't for me.
Yeah. Yeah, that real world example I didn't have until much later in my entrepreneurial journey, and I look back now at a 20-year, period where I was a dental hygienist, but starting businesses on the side and never fully jumping into that because of the security of the paycheck, the benefits, blah, blah, blah. And I'm so glad I took that leap to jump in again, at 40 something, because now that career would not even be able to support me
Right.
because the salaries have gone down.
100%.
And it's rare that salaries go down in healthcare, but they did. So I think my question really at your age with your insights, it really is a 20-year amount of wisdom at only 26 because you've been around it your whole life. And so when you think about your career, like when you were starting this business, what gave you the idea for copywriting? What did you see in the marketplace? Because you grew up with social media. What did you see that you kind of said, copywriting for me?
That's a loaded question.
I know.
I mean, a couple things, right? So like I'm a big fan of Andrew Tate, not because of the fact that, you know, the cars, the money, all this stuff, and of course that's a part of it, but
Mhm.
because of the fact that he took it upon himself and saw a niche
Mm,
in a generational gap that he's like, guys, you've got to escape the matrix is exactly how
yeah.
he would put it. And I did not want to be in a position where I got stuck.
Mhm.
So I chose to get into the copywriting campus inside the real world made by Andrew and Tristan Tate. And I went through the whole course. I went through it like in 2 weeks, got my first client in 48 hours after DMing people on Facebook.
Mhm.
And I think what I saw in the marketplace is everyone is trying to be something that they're not,
Oh,
and they're
yeah.
trying to be incredibly unoriginal. And
Mhm.
it bothers me because, you know, I personally believe that we're all put on this planet for to add value, right?
Mhm.
And you can't add value if you're going to be the same like everybody else.
Yeah.
And that kind of, dichotomy in thinking pattern is really important because
Mhm.
people sit here all day long. They say they want to be different, but your content, the way you talk does not reflect that, and
Yeah.
that bothers me a lot. So that's why
Yeah.
I think I've had a lot of success in my young career.
Yeah, I see that, and that's interesting to me. I studied category design. I've studied marketing. I help people extract their intellectual property, and the biggest fear that comes up in my work is the standing out. They want to stand out, but it's scary to stand out on your own. I want to say authenticity, but that's way too overused. But your unique journey, messy parts and all, fuck ups and all that together is your unique product, service, and your voice. And if anybody reads my LinkedIn post for today, the hook alone, I guarantee there's nobody that's used that first line in a post on
Yeah,
LinkedIn. It came to me in the middle of the night, and I couldn't wait to tell you, "Oh my god, look what I thought of," and it's gonna go on Friday. And I just think I haven't even looked to see how it's performing or the comments, because I write for me.
Right.
And everybody knows I'm an AI fan, and yes, I do use AI to help me, but it's the bravery that's required to show up and say a line like that. You got to go to my post to see it. But to show up and share something like that, and you're doing it every day, and you understand your buyer psychology so well. And where does that come from? I mean, we'll get into talking about your GPT in a minute, but like
Oh,
where does that come from within you to have that come out on a daily basis?
I think growing up in a home where, especially because of culturally,
Mhm.
Asian women are supposed to be very docile, very quiet. And I'm not just half Chinese, I'm half Puerto Rican as well. So both Latin and Asian culture, really dictated how I was supposed to be feminine. And that wasn't going to work with me, not with my personality.
Yeah.
I think a lot of what comes out of my mouth and or what I write comes from just living up here in New Jersey for 22 years before I moved to Florida and before I moved to Miami.
Mhm.
Um, that has a lot to do with it, I think.
Mm.
That's first and foremost. Second of all, like I said in the beginning of the show, you're either going to be 10 toes deep or you're going to be 10 toes out.
Yeah.
So when I say that, if you are going to be different, you are going to have to say something that someone does not agree with. And you've got
Yeah.
to say the brave thing, even when, it's wrong or people are not going to agree with you. They're going to go behind your back and talk, poorly, about you.
Mhm.
You've got to be brave enough to take a step outside of yourself and be like, is this what everyone else needs to hear? Or is this only what they want to hear?
Mhm.
Right. And that separation, that dichotomy is really important. For
Yeah.
me, like, I feel like the way I found my own voice was I was known in high school for my pep talks on the pool deck. I was literally known for them. Anybody who literally needed a pep talk right before a
Mhm.
race, they used to come straight to me. And I always had this power in my own voice.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until recently that I was like, no, I'm gonna own this. Instead of like
Mhm.
trying to play it safe like everyone else does, I'm gonna make content that makes someone really take a look at themselves and ask themselves, am I doing everything I said I'd be doing? And if you're not, you need to sit down with yourself and really analyze that for sure. And that's
Yeah.
what I did with myself. And I'm like, I don't think I'm doing everything that I should be doing. I changed. And
Mhm.
I mean, the feedback, positive and or negative, it's been cool so far.
Yeah.
I've had so many people reach out to me and be like, "Oh my god, your content is so good." I was like,
Mhm.
I'm saying what I wanted to say. I give myself
Yeah.
a platform for everyone else. Everyone should be taking notes because you get noticed when you choose to be different
Yeah.
and you choose to add value in a way where you don't sound the same.
Yeah. Yeah, and I talk about being a value, massive value to other people, and
Yeah.
that's, in every business that I've started, that was the thing that got me to the next level. And people struggle with massive value, and I can say this with total confidence that most people don't understand what being of value to someone else in your network or your fans, your followers actually is. And you understand this at a level that most seasoned entrepreneurs do not, because when we met, and I love this example, and I've said this numerous times, that when I meet someone, there is kind of like this period, sometimes it's 3 months, sometimes it's 3 years of figuring out who this person is, what they're doing, what they offer, how much they charge, all the things.
Mhm.
And 9 times out of 10, the person themselves doesn't
Mm.
know ideal client, doesn't know buyer psychology, doesn't know their own offers. And so when I ask those questions and somebody doesn't know, I immediately know you either need to hire me or, you have a lot of work to do before we can actually refer business to each other.
Right.
And right away, you had all of that down. You know who you are, you know what you do, you know what you offer, you know how much you charge. And I find that incredibly inspiring
Thank you.
when I meet somebody and it's like this. They know. And so that's my message from today that I want people to take away from this conversation, that if you don't have the basics in place, like your brand voice, your ideal client, your offer stack, maybe even how you're going to attract people to that offer stack, and you don't know how to tell stories and write things, stop networking, stop going to meetings, and figure that shit out now, or you can't be successful online
That
or
part.
in person. Or
That
in
part.
person, right? Now, with you standing out, being different comes with some things attached to that as
Yeah.
a young person. What's the biggest hurdle that you've had to unlock for yourself and get past? Age discrimination, female discrimination, I'm sure there's skepticism because of how young you are and how much success you've had. What has that been like for you?
Um, I personally think that a lot of people probably look at me and see. I think a lot of people probably would get jealous of someone like me.
Mhm.
Um, Listen, I didn't ask to be born into a very successful entrepreneur house. I didn't
Yeah.
ask for that. Do I think it benefit me?
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But to make this absolutely crystal clear to everyone, I have not taken a single connection from anyone in my family or any of my parents' very wealthy friends. I started my company with $40 in my pocket. Um, I forged my own way because the
Yeah.
fact that if you're gonna do something, you've gotta learn. You've gotta figure it out. Like
Mhm.
that's the one thing about my father that told me, he's like, the only person that can F this up is you.
Yeah.
You are forging your own way. You're making your own pricing. You're doing your own offers. And he's like, like you're gonna have people that doubt you all day long. Are you going to choose to listen to the noise, or are you gonna be 10 toes down and grind and focus and
Yeah.
shove your face in your laptop every single day and grind?
Mhm.
And I chose to do that. I
Yeah.
chose to grind. With all the criticism and all the skepticism that I face on a daily basis, like I'm glad I get it though. I'm I just like muy agradecida. Like I'm so grateful that I do get it because at the end of the day, all that hatred, all of that bad energy, that pushes me farther. That
Yeah.
lights a fire under my butt and it says, boom, go.
Yeah.
So all the negativity that I may or may not get,
Mhm.
you're only fueling me to become better. So
Oh, I
thank you
love
to all
that.
of you.
Yeah, I love that so much because that's really the definition of entrepreneurship in my mind. I'm a big Stoic philosophy fan, and I fully believe that the mess is the message. The screw ups that happen, the negative that happens, that's your choice to turn that into a lesson,
Mhm.
goals for the future. And I would argue if you haven't been brave enough to make mistakes in your business, then you're not working hard enough. You're not
100%.
going big enough, right?
100%.
I'm speaking this afternoon to a huge group of people.
Let's
Huge.
go.
Let's go. And someone asked me this morning if they could come, and register. I said, sure. It's right on my personal profile, like register, come. What are you talking about? And I told them, and I was just preparing the notes and the value and the presentation. Like literally 3 hours before. I don't think about that stuff. I don't stress about, oh my God, I'm going to be talking, like it's going to be in a Facebook group of 500,000 people. Like I don't care, because the message is the same, whether it's for one person or whether it's for 500,000 people.
Absolutely.
And I think it's a choice. I think, yeah, Gordon just said choice, right? It's a choice to feel as though I have to spend 3 weeks preparing for this, or do I trust myself enough to show up and channel what I already know into sharing that with other people? And I think you have stepped into that so well, and it took me years to conquer the imposter syndrome, the doubt. I don't have stage fright. It
Right.
wasn't that. It was, do I know something that other people don't know? And you know stuff that most people don't know.
Yeah.
How, at your young age, and how long have you been in business now? 3 years?
Almost 2.
Almost 2.
End of January will be 2.
All right, so you stepped into this right away and knew you had something of value. You knew stuff that other people didn't. And this is the important part. You were brave enough to put it out into the world. So the big question is, where was the imposter syndrome? Where was the self-doubt? Like, to start a business with $40 in your bank account comes with, oh my God, I don't have any money. Am I worthy of charging? Am I, like, how come that didn't hold you back?
Oh man. Okay. All right. I had all the imposter syndrome. I still struggle with it to a degree. I'm not perfect. But I think a very big thing that I have done well is kept my eyes not only on what my vision is for my future, but I started realizing that my validation doesn't come from other people. My validation comes from God, number one. Okay. And when you fully step into validation coming from a higher being or energy that's around you, and you've got people around you that are telling you you are worthy, you are good to go, you are ready to do this,
Yeah.
it changes your perspective.
Yeah.
In my own home growing up, my own family told me that wouldn't be anything. But everything changed when I used to work at Saks Fifth Avenue. I met mentors of mine that breathed life into me and made me believe. And at the time, I was 22, working at some very big company.
Yeah.
And it changed my whole life, man. Because I had people that saw young kid, hungry as shit to get shit done and go after what it is that she wants. And I had mentors be like, if you stay here, we'll be very disappointed in you. You're meant for way
Yeah.
more.
Yeah.
Figure out whatever that is, get locked in, and do whatever it is that you need to do to get yourself to where you want to be. I was
Yeah.
always very attracted to money.
Mm.
So the cars, the houses, the boat, the this, the yacht, whatever the case may be, I've always been very, very attracted to money.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew working a job was not the answer for me.
Yeah.
What, to sit there and listen to some guy who's absolutely washed up and has no idea what they're talking about? Get out of here. So I decided if you are going to be successful, you are going to have to work on yourself. You are going to have to drop the fear. You're going to have to drop the imposter syndrome. You are
Mm-hmm.
going to have to learn how to, every single step of the way, believe in your God-given talent.
Yeah. Yeah. And so with sales, working at Saks, I'm sure sales was a big part,
100%.
customer relationships,
Mhm.
being able to talk to people, being able to interact with wealthy people because that's
Mhm.
who's shopping there,
Yeah,
right? So I'm
100%.
sure that served you very, very well.
Mhm.
But also, don't you think it's easier, at least it was for me, to sell something else that I believed in, rather than sell yourself? So there is a pivot required there. Like if somebody asked me, what dentist do I go to? I would sell my old boss like
No
incredible.
more. Right.
If somebody said, I need a website designed and funnels created, boom, I can sell my partner's stuff. I could sell
Mhm.
your stuff. Like, and anybody who I know, like, and trust and value in my entrepreneur circle,
Mhm.
talk about them in a way that motivates other people to be interested in them and discover them or hire them. But talking about myself in that same way was the most difficult thing to learn and master and be
Mhm.
able to go out there in the world and do. And it was all the things we talked about in the beginning. I had to know all of those things, the buyer
Mhm.
psychology, the who I am, what I offer. You seem to be able to do that at a level that is, I mean, it's like you have 40 years of doing it. And it's a self-confidence that you have. And I'm curious how that resonates or doesn't resonate with people your own age or or people who don't have it. So does that trigger people who don't have that when you talk to them?
Listen, my generation is very, very wishy-washy.
Yeah, they are.
That's why I'm single. Okay?
Oh, okay. Oh, she's single, everyone, and she lives near
Not
me
looking for
in New
anything.
Jersey. So hit me up. Hit me up. I love being a
um,
matchmaker.
I see so many young kids so lost now.
Yeah.
We have an identity issue in this
Yeah.
generation, Gen
Yeah.
Z specifically.
Yeah.
So lost. And living in Miami, I I watched it firsthand.
Mhm.
OnlyFans, people are going out to clubs, smoking weed, like I saw it all.
Mhm.
And I wonder, I was like, is this what I really want for myself?
Yeah.
Hell no. That's not what
Mhm.
I wanted for myself. Never been a big person at all for all the recreational stuff. Like, have I gone out? Have I been to some of the biggest clubs? Absolutely. But also at the same time, you get tired of doing the same thing that's not adding value to your life. So at what point do you sit
Yeah.
yourself down and say, okay, I hate this. This is not where I want to be. This is not
Mhm.
going to fulfill a need to myself or hell anyone. When do I pivot, right?
Yeah.
So I had that self-realization moment within myself and I was like, this isn't it.
Mhm.
And I don't know. I feel like I don't I try to put this gently because I still, to your point, I feel like I have issues watching people not know themselves.
Yeah.
I do. I have a big issue with that. I read a lot. I read a lot, and I don't read books, by the way. I watch a lot of podcasts. I read a lot of
Mhm.
articles, especially about psychology. So, I don't know. I mean, I don't, to your point, like I I've worked on myself so much in my
Yeah.
20s to get myself to this point. And my journey is not the same as everyone else's, and I know
Yeah.
that. So, to anybody, watching this that has identity issues, I mean, I would say really ask yourselves, is this where you want to be? Is this
Yeah.
serving you? Is this state of where you are serving you? And if it's not, ask yourself if you're ready for a change, the way I did.
Yeah. And I think there's something about, today compared to the 80s when I was in high school, the social media, feed, and there's so
Mhm.
many different platforms, right? There's
Yeah.
Instagram, TikTok, even Snapchat with your friends and, like, all of this comparison-itis that
Mhm.
happens, and I see it happening to 50-year-old people too, 70-year-old clients
Yeah.
I have, where, they wanna put X out into the world, and before they make their own decisions, they go to social media, and I think competitive research is very important, but
1,000%.
but for different reasons, right? Um, but I see people just copying what other people do.
Mhm.
So, maybe it's, you're a coach and you go to Instagram and you look up other life coaches and you see
Mhm.
that their colors are pink and tan. So you make your colors pink and tan instead of what you like. And I see this happening over and over and over. And I fully believe, and I'm curious if you believe this too, because we've never talked about this,
Mhm.
that when you do that, you are basically putting someone else's brand out into the world or thoughts or offers. And that's why you struggle to sell it. And that's why
Mhm.
you struggle with your people resonating
Yeah.
with
From a very young age, I was the kid that sat at the lunch table by herself,
it. Mm,
bullied to death in school, so misunderstood. Um, and I hated being a kid. I hated being a kid. People would pick on me all day long, but I really realized you have to step into that uniqueness.
mhm,
You cannot be like everyone else because, to your point,
mhm.
you your their offer is not yours, right? So
Right,
like
right.
you've got to have that fire within you being like, yeah, okay, they may be in the same niche or they may be doing the same thing, but how
Mhm.
do I differentiate myself, right? What
Right.
is it about myself that I've got that they don't, right? I know from a lot of other people, a lot of copywriters, for example, they would not sit here on an interview and say buyer psychology is the first thing to the
Yeah.
writing process that you have to be able to analyze so profoundly.
Mhm.
And, you know, people and to your point, I believe that Instagram, social media has made comparison syndrome
Yeah.
so much worse. So much worse.
Yeah.
I think if you can redo your algorithm to show you things to be okay with being different, like a lot of my Instagram feed is entrepreneurship, cars, money, yachts, um, mindset,
Mhm.
motivation. But I started doing it at 19. That's what I
Right,
was tracking, right?
right.
So like you have the power to change your
Yeah.
algorithm. You do. You have the
Well,
power to change it.
I love that because when I came into, the online space, Facebook, Instagram, I was looking for other coaches all the time.
Mhm.
Like, oh, let me see how they do it. Trying to hack their funnel, or like, how are they attracting people? What are they saying? What are they doing? And not from a comparison, but from a studying, like learning, like, how does Instagram work? How's it different than Facebook? I'm still going to put out my own thoughts, but like,
Mhm.
how does it work? How do you get people to comment? How do you get, people to download your thing or visit your profile? What does that look like? And it all came back to psychology.
Mhm.
But here's what happened with my feed. I trained my Instagram and my Facebook to show me shit other coaches were selling.
Yeah.
Oh no. I
Mhm.
mean, 4 years in, I was like, I got to figure out how to change this. I want to see cars. I'm a big Porsche fan, so now
Lambo.
my Instagram is, I mean, this morning it was a 4-year-old hugging an old 911,
Ooh.
walking through the parking lot with his dad, and he saw the car and he was like, "Oh, I love that." And I'd rather see that than anything from another coach, you
Yeah.
know? But I had to work really hard to train my Facebook and my Instagram to show me the things I was interested in, not what other people wanted me to see.
Yeah.
And same thing on LinkedIn. I tell every single one of my clients, I would love your take on this, to be careful who you follow, who you connect with, and make sure when you're coming into the LinkedIn space that your connections are potential referral partners,
Mhm.
potential collaborators, potential clients, because those connections are going to be the people that see your content
Yeah.
the most.
Yeah.
How do we make sure that we don't fall into that trap of just connecting with anybody who asks us?
Great question. Simple answer, vet
Mhm.
people.
Yeah.
When they request to connect with you, the first thing you should be doing is clicking on who they are.
Yeah.
And then spend 5 minutes of your time and scroll. If you have a MacBook, the way I know I do, scroll and say, okay,
Mhm.
this person's cool. No, yeah, I agree with that. A little bit.
Yeah.
There's room for a little bit of a discussion there, right? You want to like I have a very hard time accepting people out of the US. I
Yeah.
do,
Yeah.
unless it's maybe from Europe, right?
Mhm.
Other than that, I try really not to. Um you just gotta vet people. You gotta
Yeah.
really look at their stuff, right? And the better that they have LinkedIn Premium, the better vetted they are.
Yeah. Agreed. Um, I notice, and this goes for coaches, consultants, service providers. If I see somebody requesting to connect with me, and in their LinkedIn headline, it says, I help coaches or I guide coaches, then I know that whatever they say to me is probably BS. They're just connecting with me to send me their spammy sales messages. So it's a no.
Oh,
It's a no. And message to anybody listening to this on LinkedIn, if you send 3 automated messages before I've even had a chance to reply, and those messages are all about you and your stuff that you're selling or your PDF or your masterclass or your nonsense, you're not being of value to me.
yeah, pretty simple.
How can we help more people understand that?
Simple answer, don't do it. Don't do it.
Don't do it. Stop
If you
doing it.
are going to nurture somebody in the
Yeah.
DMs, Okay. Business is a game of chess, not checkers. Okay. And I'm not going to say, I'm going to take that back because it is absolutely true. Chess, not
Yes.
checkers. So there is a right way to approach someone and there's a wrong way to approach someone. If I get these all the time, just as much as you do, I will have people DM me and be like, I do this and this. I'm like, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, dude, no, turn it off immediately.
Yep.
I also know how to talk to people that have got money because I've been around money my whole life.
Yeah.
And I've lived in Miami as well. I used to live around people in $5 million homes. And let me tell you something, they don't want to be sold, they want to have a natural conversation.
Yes.
I lived in South Miami, to be very specific. I didn't live in Brickell, I didn't live in downtown, but I used to be like, I don't know, like 30 minutes from Brickell. So people that have money, they don't like that shit.
Yeah. And
They
most
don't.
likely they're not on LinkedIn reading their DM messages. So
That part.
yeah,
Don't do it. Just
don't
don't
do it.
do that.
Stop doing it.
Don't do it. And if you're going to DM somebody, and if you don't know how to, you can either come to me or come to STK because I took someone's entire framework and I copied it into my own GBT. I said, give me the psychology of this because he was nurturing me and I fell for it. And I almost
Uh-huh.
bought his course and I didn't, by the way, because it's all about the LinkedIn nurturing and DMing people
Okay.
based off your content. And I was like, oh, this guy's good. He got me. And I'm a hard person to sell. So I took our entire conversation, I put in my GBT, I told it, give me the psychology and how he nurtured me. And
Oh,
it
that's good.
broke
Yeah.
it down bit by bit by bit. And I was like, damn, I just
Mhm.
sold like a whole course, my guy.
Yeah.
If
But
you're going to DM people, you've got to do it right, man. You
yeah.
can't
Well,
come out here and be like, buy my
think
course.
about going to a party. Say you were invited to a dinner party, and there's 12 people there. 12 people you don't know, you just know the host. And the host tells you, look, this is a party of billionaires. You would fit in. I would fit in because I know how to have a conversation,
Yeah.
how to not lead with what I do and what I have for sale because I know I'm talking to somebody who could buy it.
Yeah.
And I think it's a unique ability to be able to have a conversation with, well, anyone, doesn't matter if they have money or not, but have a conversation and be of value. Take what I know and what I do and frame it for them,
Mm.
whether they're a trash man, a dentist, a doctor, an entrepreneur. That is a skill that you need to learn. And I fully believe that's why this whole idea of creating a hyper targeted niche was created. And I kind of think it's BS because I feel like that is you learn to talk to one person. And I think the real skill of entrepreneurship is being able to talk to 27 different types of people. What do you
Mm-hmm.
think about that?
Oh, 100%. I mean, like, when I first started my company, I took absolutely everybody. And
Mhm.
then my year 2, I said, I did a personal exercise for me, and I implore everyone to do this because this is super effective. Take down all your clients who you have worked with in the past, and I did
Mhm.
it for year 1. I said, okay, I've worked with all these people in these niches in this industry. Okay.
Mhm.
And what did I do? I said, pro and con of working with this individual, pro and con of working with this individual.
Nice.
And that helped me figure out my niche.
I love it.
That
I
is
love
the best exercise you can do for yourself. That's
Yeah.
going to tell you whether or not you know what niche you need to go after.
Mhm. Yeah, I totally my advice is always no niche, until you've worked with 100 people.
Yeah.
Go help 100 people with what you want to do, all different ages, all different, and just record the data. Who did I like to work with? Who did I get the best results
Yeah.
for? Right?
Yeah.
And this idea of niching before you have your offers or before you've helped 100 people is an impossible task.
Yeah.
That's why so many entrepreneurs ended up pivoting. They launch something or they put something out there and it doesn't sell, doesn't work, blah, 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 and they change it. Happened to
Yeah.
me for the first 3 years in the online
100%.
space as a health
Mhm.
coach. It was like, all right, do I help 20 somethings? Do I help 50 somethings? No, like I had to figure out who I actually liked to work with and who I got the best results for.
Yeah.
And it turned
I
out it was not who I thought.
Right. I didn't do it like that though. I did it
Mm,
by who I liked, who was the
okay.
easiest, because
Mm,
there have been clients for me that I would not take again,
yeah,
100%. Don't care
yeah,
about the money.
yep,
Um, so I mean, you've gotta learn to love who you work with,
mm,
because I'm a very pattern person,
yeah,
and I will notice time after time why I like working with this person, right?
yeah,
Especially with life coach, because they're so emotionally intelligent, which actually makes copywriting 5 times easier, by the way, because
mhm,
they understand the psychology of how their client thinks.
yeah,
Most of the time, they know how their buyer thinks. So that
yeah,
it's very easy for me to work with a lot of life coaches. Um, but also at the same time, my brain is super analytical. So who do I go after? I go after strategy, ops, business, analysis coaches. Like, that's
mhm,
who I go after. That's how my brain is absolutely wired. So, yeah, the emotion side is great, but also the actual analytical side of my brain isn't always
yeah,
on overdrive. So, I don't know, like, really sit yourself down, analyze who you've worked with. Why did you like the person? Why
mhm,
was the process so easy? And maybe the more easier it is for you to work with somebody, the better results you do get, and that is very evident. So, that's my advice to, entrepreneurs that are just starting
yeah,
out, maybe don't have enough experience as say you and I do. So, that's my advice to everyone. Sit yourself down. Why do you like working with this person? What kind of results did you guys get?
mhm,
And so on and so forth. And that will help you create your niche for sure.
nice. All right, last question. Um, I notice in the online space that everyone wants to be high ticket. Everyone wants to be work with wealthy people.
Right.
And everybody wants to have, a 10,000, 25,000, $100,000 offer. Few are capable of having that.
Yeah.
What's your criteria for investing yourself? Like when you go to invest in a coach or a program, what's your criteria? And I know it's hard. I know it's tough criteria. So that's why I'm asking.
I have never thought about this question
Okay.
ever in my life
Ooh,
until like right now.
okay.
That's a brilliant question. Um, I am a person that smells BS really, really quickly.
Yeah.
Hi, how are you?
Hi. Nice to meet you.
So, exactly. So, like, when you're charging $25,000 for a program, you better
Uh-huh.
explain to me why it's 25 grand.
Yeah.
And not in the way, oh, like the value stack. Fuck that. Okay?
Mhm.
It's not about the stupid value stack. It's
Yeah.
about why are you the most qualified? Because you're not the only one doing the same thing, my homeboy. Okay?
Yeah.
You're not the only one. So why should I buy from you and not Joe Schmo over here?
Yeah.
It's about something people buy you, they don't buy the stupid offer.
Right.
Okay? Let's get that straight. So if you're not unique enough, no one's
Mhm.
gonna buy your high ticket offer. Period.
Yeah. Yeah.
Period. You
Yeah. I
gotta
love I
be
love that
somebody that's
because
different.
I love that because somebody asked me about being a high-end website designer.
Yeah.
And I asked a couple questions, 3 questions. It's not important what the questions are, but the fact that they didn't know the answer to me means you're not the person I'm hiring.
Yeah.
And here was my questions. I'll say them because I think they're powerful whenever you go to hire someone. Who is the best branding agency in the country right now in the United States? He didn't know. I said, who is the highest end website designer in the country right now? He didn't know.
Right.
And I said, what is the going rate for an influencer style website? He didn't know. So he is not my ideal client. When he came to me wanting help, and I asked those 3 questions, and he didn't know the answer, I can't help you be that high ticket, high end person till
Right.
you go and you learn that information. That's
Right.
your competition. If you don't know your competition, you can't possibly be high end or
Yeah.
high ticket.
Yeah.
You can't. So
But
that's my
that should be common sense, though, right?
Oh,
Like, I,
well,
I would not sit. This is my advice to everyone: do not sit there and think about your competition all day. The best example of this is Michael Phelps versus Chad Leclos, 2016 Olympics,
mhm,
in the 200-meter butterfly.
yeah,
Chad Leclos was looking right at him. Michael Phelps was looking straight forward towards the wall because in swimming it has to do with a lot with drag. So obviously be aware of who your competition is, but don't make it your sole focus.
yeah,
Don't let it consume you. Like, oh my
right.
God, like,
No,
no. Focus on what you've got to do, but know who they are in this space, right? Whatever
yeah,
space you guys might be in. That's my
yeah.
advice.
I love it. Well, how can our listeners get in touch with you and find out more about what you
All
can do?
right. So my LinkedIn should be posted along with this.
Yes,
And then my email at srqcopywriting@gmail.com. My phone number is 941-405-9746. So if you guys want to either call or DM me, you can do that on LinkedIn and or you can just text me on my phone. But yeah,
love it. Thanks so
this
much for this
was fun.
candid conversation. Love it.
Love you.
All right, coffee soon, girl. Thanks for being here today.
Absolutely.
All right.
Love you.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great Friday and happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween, guys.